Hello everybody, how you doing today? I hope you're having a good day. You may not appreciate the weather, but there's nothing you can do about it. So I could say ha ha, but that wouldn't be very nice. So I'm just going to say deal with it. I mean, you have no other choice, do we? But anyway, let's not talk about the weather. Let's talk about something else. The title of our lesson today is Lessons from Furniture. And there's really spiritual applications we can make when we consider this. Now, I'm not rich like you guys are, and so when I need furniture, I don't run to the furniture store and buy a piece of furniture that's already made. Basically, I either run to Walmart or order from IKEA or something like that, where I have to put the stuff together. And so that's what I do. And of course, many like me have learned to appreciate the prefabricated items that were sold in the different stores. But uh, these are the kind that you take it home, then you open up the box, then you have to assemble it. And now they're a lot cheaper. We understand it's a lot cheaper because you're not paying for the labor to assemble these things, and of course the transportation cost, and then of course the delivery cost, and someone has to set them up in your home. These are your do-it-yourself type things, and so there's a lot involved in doing it yourself. And of course, I bought things. I built desks and TV stands and bookcases, armoires, storage cabinets. And I also have learned through experience to follow the instructions very precisely. Otherwise, the items is not going to last or perform as it's supposed to do. And so here's where a spiritual application is going to come in. See, we should learn from the Bible that if we follow the instructions, that we will get the desired result. If we follow the instructions as far as God's plan of salvation, as God has instructed us how to live and how to behave, then the desired result of getting to heaven is going to be realized. But when we try and cut corners and save time and do it our own way, it's going to turn out to be a disaster. And so we're going to look at that. And so the Bible is our instruction book from God, and we should learn that if we follow the instructions of the Bible, that the result of salvation, eternal life, will be the result. Now, a lot of you have probably done the same thing. You probably bought furniture that you had to assemble. And so you'll be able to relate to this as you've done this yourself. So let's examine how this is done. Usually, as I get the product home and prepare to assemble it, I take all the pieces out and lay them on the floor. I check the instruction sheet and verify that I have all the tools and pieces needed for the assembly. And so what I have before me is everything I need to assemble and then use it as intended to be used. Now compare that with 2 Peter 1 and verse 3. For according to God's divine mercy, He hath granted us everything pertaining to life and godliness. So we have it there. And then so what you have to do to make sure you have all the right parts, there's a big sheet of paper or probably a little booklet that tells you, okay, here's what you need. From outside of the box, you might need a screwdriver or a hammer, something like that. But everything else is provided for you. A lot of times they have the screwdriver involved with like a little hex key or something. But anyway, you have it. You have 14 of this particular item, 14 of that particular item. You have maybe 8 1.5-inch bolts and not 10 1-inch bolts. Whatever. You know what I'm talking about. And then, of course, you might have little rubber pieces, or you might have little things which you're going to use as the feet or the rollers, whatever it's going to be. And so you have it all laid out in front of you, and basically, you do that. So the Bible has everything we need pertaining to life and godliness. So, and it's not wise to add things to it or to leave things out. And so we also learn that if we leave things out according to the instructions, that our project very well is going to be a failure. And so we learn that. See, the instructions also, as we look at these things, these include the steps that need to be taken to assemble this item properly. And if you've ever tried to put this stuff together in the wrong order, it doesn't work. Something goes wrong, then you either have to backtrace and take it all apart, what you've already done, which in effect could weaken or damage the parts. So, I've learned from experience, you do step one. When step one is completed, okay, now you can go to step two. Some people get in a hurry and try and jump ahead and do other steps. They look at the pictures, oh, I can do that right now, and it's so easy. Then they're going to find out something doesn't quite fit right. And so we must do the steps in order as they're given. Otherwise, we have to go back and, like I say, start over. So this should remind us that there are also steps to achieve in the plan of salvation. And of course, trying to put something ahead of the others is definitely going to produce the wrong results. And so that's the idea. Think about this. When people do infant baptism, of course, baptism comes basically the last step of our obedience in the plan of salvation. And some people want to put it up at the front. And of course, that's not going to work because you need the other elements. You need faith to do that. Babies cannot have faith. And so anybody who has their child baptized, their infant baptized, that's not doing them one bit of good as far as helping them get to heaven. What you need to do, you need to teach them first. They need to hear the Word of God. Then they need to believe it, change their ways, confess His name, and then be baptized. So there is a proper order when it comes to God's plan of salvation, just like we see in our instruction book there, and our instruction picture saying, okay, do it in this order. All right. So the manufacturer has everything ready to go for us. I mean, all the parts, the holes are drilled. All we have to do is insert the parts and do a little twist here and a little twist there and put the pieces where they belong. And so God also has put in place everything we need. And so some of the steps we need to follow are what we might call just natural. But we must still be doing it according to the instructions. And so, yes, we do those things. All right. So when we have completed the project, then we'll have what we need. So God's plan of salvation is kind of like that construction of our furniture. Once we have assembled it, we need to use it properly, as it was designed to be used. You know, couches were not designed to be beds. And so, other things like that. Storage cabinets were not designed to be chairs, or whatever you might want to do with it. I mean, if you buy an armoire, what's supposed to go in it? Yeah, clothes or towels or sheets or something like that. It's a storage cabinet. It is not there for any other reason. And so we do this. And so we follow these steps, and we're supposed to do it as it was designed to be used. You know, some people go through and once they get to their baptism, then they revert back to their old lifestyle, thinking, well, I'm saved now, so I can go back and do what I did before. Well, that's wrong. See, when we put this furniture together, then all of a sudden you look down, you have 3 or 4 parts still sitting on the floor that should be inside the furniture. Well, what are you going to do about it? A lot of times, if you're basically lazy, you're just saying, oh, that's all right, we'll manage. And then about 1 or 2 years later, you throw that piece of furniture away. Now, if you put all the parts in where it's supposed to go, it'll last you a long time. I've got some stuff that I've still got from 30, 40 years ago that I put together, and they're still standing. And so they will do that if you build them properly according to the instructions. Now, when we try and change things, all of a sudden, okay, we might have problems. Now, as far as the basic structure, maybe painting something, that putting a different color on it might be okay and probably won't hurt it. But if we try and switch it around, we get a saw out and start making some cuts here and there, or taking some bolts and screws out, or something like that, all of a sudden it's going to be weakened in that area and it can collapse on us at any time. And yes, I've seen furniture collapse, primarily because the rules and instructions were not followed. All right, so in our spiritual life, we've taken these steps to get ourselves in the right position to use this thing, and a lot of people just don't use it. They may throw it out in the garage and just let it sit there for 10, 15, 20 years and not even touch it. And then they say, well, I'm going to grab that thing again. And then, of course, it's somehow, for some reason, it's just kind of deteriorated and it won't support what needs to be done with it. So, also, if you'll notice in a lot of these instructions, there's the instructions of how to build it. But also, a lot of times, the manufacturers will put in some tips or some suggestions to enhance the life of the products and how to get the most use out of it. I mean, keeping it clean might be one thing. Maybe tightening every once in a while, tighten some bolts and screws or something like that. So the manufacturer wants you to enjoy this, and they want you to have it for a long time. And so if we'll follow the instructions, and then the maintenance of it, if we'll take care of it, keep it clean, and keep it being used for what it was designed for, then we will enjoy it for a long time. See, God does the same thing for us. He's assembled our spiritual life. He's put it together. We followed the instructions, and now we've got to maintain it. We've got to maintain our good works. We've got to maintain the words of Christ in our hearts. We've got to maintain our duty to God. We have to maintain our reputation, our name, our influence. We have to maintain all of these things. And so, our spiritual life can be enhanced and improved and last a very long time. And so this is only going to happen if we follow the instructions, we follow the rules according to the pattern that we're given, we follow the instructions precisely, and then what we're going to find out, if you remember from Ephesians 4:16, it'll all be come together and every part will do its part, what it's designed to do. You know, every part comes together for the body. I mean, every member does its part, and the body is going to be strong, it's going to grow, and it's going to be something to be enjoyed for years to come. Hopefully, for us in our spiritual application, that years to come will be until the day of our death. And so that's what we need to do. So we can learn lessons from this furniture that we have. Yes, we understand that in real life, you have to put things in their proper order. Now, when man decides, well, they want to take the Bible and tell you you can do things without this or without that, then the desired result is not going to be there. You can't do something differently and expect the right results. And I mean, it's just like a cake recipe. You can't put in different ingredients and expect to get the same thing that your grandma made. No, you got to do things precisely the same. If you enjoyed the taste of grandma's cooking, you're going to have to follow her recipe and not make any adjustments or changes. See, in our world today, that's what people want to do all the time. They want to adjust things. They want to change things. And the result is not the same. So, consider these things. You know, we are designed for a purpose as Christians. We are designed to fill a certain part of our church community, of our religious community. We are there for a purpose, and we need to be used properly. If we're not used properly, then the result is not going to be what we expect or what we desire. So keep those thoughts in mind. Very simple lesson here, and you can learn the application of this. There is a spiritual application from furniture if we will just follow it and then use it properly. Like I say, even if you put a couch together, it's not designed to be a trampoline. And so that's why you always have to yell at the kids, hey, get off there, that's not a trampoline. But because you know what's going to happen. If they keep doing it, it's not going to be long. Something is going to be breaking down and it won't be used there as it's supposed to be used. And you'll have to get rid of it and get another one. So consider these lessons. Very simple lessons, and you can make the spiritual application from furniture. You can probably find many different things you can make a spiritual application to. So think about things that you can consider about these things. One day we might even talk about the spiritual application we can get from a pencil. So, I mean, you never know. All right, consider these thoughts. We hope you have a good day today and that you'll be blessed in what you do. Always remember to put God first and seek God's guidance and receive His instructions from the Word and communicate with God. Tell Him how much you appreciate what He's done for you, and it'll go well for you. So we're getting the lesson for now, and hopefully we'll be back tomorrow with another lesson. Okay, bye-bye for now.